He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast that knows for a fact that Candace...
I'm going to haunt you. I'm going to haunt you in your dreams.
Owens humiliated that disgusting guy who couldn't open the pickle jar. And although she is just another click-hungry, dangerous nutcase in her own right, it sure felt nice to watch her send that absolute dullard...
Straight to jail, straight to jail!
That is all simply to say...
I'm a big fan of the website findagrave.com.
It is 11:10 a.m. Anti-Meridium, KST Korea Standard Time, Saturday, August 21st, 2569, era of the Buddha. This voice speaking now is the voice of...
these terrible machines.
Joshua, how am I not my nomen mutatio? And as not always, not coming to us live is not Tim, pansexual panopticon Buechner, but instead coming to us from the very same time zone, nation, city, and district is co-founder of the podcast and today's co-host, Jason.
I'm a very simple masturbator.
Newland. What's up, Jason?
I'm just amazed by the sound drops. We're really living in the future now. Whew.
I feel almost slightly weird playing a drop of yourself to you, but it was, it was right there. How could I not introduce you that way, Also, your words.
I didn't even recognize myself. But, it sounds like something I would say. And it rings true.
Just a
That's
simple country masturbator.
I think the world would be a better place if we had less gooners and more simple masturbators.
Yeah, to the point. Prose, more Raymond Carver prose stylists, less flashy DFW footnote masturbators. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it just makes me think of
literary style.
What was that stupid movie about the guy who is addicted to masturbation and falls in love with an older woman? About some guy in New Jersey. Has that guy that was in the movie.
Are you talking about Lars and the Real Girl?
No, but that's a good one. He goes through this whole thing where he has his room set up for a perfect masturbation station. He's like a business sort of guy, high profile. But
what era is this?
2013, 14? Maybe 2015.
Addicted to masturbation. It's not ringing a bell. I don't know.
Oh, it's okay.
Well, why did you bring it up? Sorry.
That's just how I imagine most people have set up their masturbation stations now, where at one point you grabbed a magazine and you just got yourself done in a few minutes and went off on your day.
Are you talking Don John starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, a man whose name I often mispronounce? Yeah. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Compulsive porn. I didn't know that's what that movie was about. I never saw it.
It's all right.
We also,
remember liking
also got
it.
2019's Yes, God, Yes, a coming of age comedy. Coming of age comedy.
Is it from 2019?
Yes.
Wow, it's that new.
No, this is the other movie that came up when I searched masturbation. Movie
Okay.
Movie addicted
Sorry,
to
I was like-
maturbation, specifically, is what I Googled.
And yes, I still consider 2019 new for, better or worse.
It is. That was like a year ago.
Well, who's counting?
Well, we're counting. We're counting all the news that's fit to count. And after suffocating all week in the flood zone, the zone of a floodrist, I Bonsai Mr. Miyagi pruned down about 78,000 discrete bits of info/valuetainment news to about 70,000 units of news particulate matter for us to think about what we might think about them. We're going to think about what we're thinking about.
I try not to do that.
We may think about things on an individual basis per discrete info bit, or hey, if we get really wild, we may even engage in some pattern recognition. And
That's a good book.
Pattern recognition?
Yeah, by the guy that wrote William Gibson. William Gibson wrote a book called Pattern Recognition.
That
I like
rings
it.
a bell. Still never got around to that guy. I've been meaning to for probably 20 years at least.
No reason. They're making a TV show on Neuromancer. You'll be able to watch it and get the same thing from it, I'm sure.
Sweet.
Everyone knows that TV and movies faithfully adapt books every time.
Also true. So, we're going to talk about some Korea-specific stuff since we both live in Korea. But before we get there, we got a few...
Not by choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
By necessity of being American in this day and age, we've been forced to travel to the colonial outpost of Seoul, South Korea to make what could be called a living.
I like to think of it as an exile.
Sort of, but it also kind of feels like home in the worst ways.
That's true. I used to think of it as a sojourn, but now it's become like a exile or retreat from. Maybe it's a retreat. I've retreated from America, but I didn't realize it was a retreat when I left. But now I've come to accept that this has been one big retreat, and not like a retreat you take for vacation, but like oh fuck. God, got to stay away from there.
Yeah, more in the military sense of fleeing.
Yeah.
Fleeing a dangerous thing. But our favorite penile implanted moron crashed one of his rockets into the moon this week. Did you hear about this, folks? Did you hear about this, Jason?
I did. It's been I just saw brief stuff about it. It only really came up, I think, because I've been watching the TV show For All Mankind, which has been out for a while now. It's about like what if Russia landed on the moon before America.
Oh, that's the deal with that. I didn't realize that was the hypothetical there. Sounds interesting.
But watching it makes me think that, maybe had they landed on the moon before us, we wouldn't have stupid space bros like Musk, and we might actually have progressed more for various reasons.
Also, Elon Musk, personally kind of kicking NASA while it's down with the whole Doge thing last year, which extends into the present day.
Where's my $2,000 Doge check?
I forgot we were supposed to get one of those, weren't we? Or wasn't it 5,000? I don't know. I mean, if so obviously a lie from the beginning, why would you retain the number,
My personal opinion is that Musk should be legally bound to give every American $5,000.
I would up the number and include then he has to walk the plank into a volcano afterwards, live streamed for the world to watch.
I don't think that's a good punishment for him. I think he should have to take one of his rockets to the moon and go up there and figure it out.
Well, now you're cooking with gas. I was just going off straight off the dome. You have made a better punishment for Elon Musk. It should be more of an ironic punishment. I agree. We should actually kidnap him, send him to the moon, but like trick him into think he's been sent to Mars for like a day or two, and then pull the rug.
If he does figure it out, we all just collectively eat crow and be like, God damn, he made it work up there. But
sure.
The likelihood is low.
Also, I think, like, so I initially saw this as like, this dumb fuck does it again, crashes a thing into a thing. Like, he can't stop crashing stuff. Everything he does, like, blows up, basically, which is, you know, a fair generalization, I'd say, to make. But then I read somewhere that I think that was like the intention. Also, it wasn't a mistake. I'm not sure. It's kind of like, because then there was another article saying that like future sort of like payload, whatever deliveries to the moon, essentially like have to crash into it at this point, just with like certain technological limitations. I don't know. Who cares? But that doesn't save Musk from other accusations of being insane. What was it called here? Pure insanity. Pure insanity, quote unquote. Elon Musk details SpaceX's plan to turn the moon into its newest manufacturing site. So you couldn't just take a thing like and be like, "Hey, the crash was intentional. It's the only way we can get our stuff to the moon." You know, come on, cut me some slack, guys. And they're like, all right, maybe he's not always 100% wrong about everything. And then he has to follow it up with like, but that's because I'm going to put my robot factories on the moon. So he just immediately negates any possible sort of, goodwill, good faith effort to understand what the fuck he's doing with these things.
When I was a middle schooler, I really loved Heinlein. He wrote The Moon is the Harsh Mistress and a lot of other sci-fi novels. Guy has terrible politics, and I think that Elon Musk just never grew out of Richard Heinlein? Whatever. The Moon is the Harsh Mistress.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Musk just never grew out of those stories of, you know, slaves building robots on the moon.
Robert A. Heinlein.
Robert. Our names are all the fucking same.
All faces are Ann Coulter's.
All our names are the same.
Did you see the thing I just sent you at Discord? Adam Friedland just released like a In the Vault thing he did with. Maybe this had already been out before and I just forgot.
Was that true? I didn't know if that was like.
I'm assuming it's
a real one or not.
I think it's real. Even just looking at the thumbnail, just based on like the kind of other guests he's had before. So I'm sure he could get a total.
Get anyone.
What's a good word besides attention whore? Well, I guess I said attention whore, so we'll leave it at that. Ann Coulter, folks. But also
a workout whore.
The reason, yes, Jim Slut, as I'm called by my very own wife, which may or may not be a reference listeners will understand at this point in the episode. We'll see.
That is true.
What kind of cold open or whatever happens this week. But this ultimately reminded me of a previous episode we did, episode 156, August 5th, 2022, Nuke My Moon Away, where in the beginning of that episode, as I wrote here in those show notes, I'll just quote myself, we discussed 3 separate pleading bottom-of-the-barrel ideas to halt climate disaster. Nuclear war, dim the sun with chemicals in the air, and blow up the moon, parentheses, for real. So I was just sort of pleasantly reminded of that.
You know, I rewatched the Mr. Show clip of blowing up the moon,
which I have. Yeah, it did remind us of that then, and you know, anytime kind of wacky or what's called pure insanity type ideas come up involving the moon, it's hard not to think of.
My brain always thinks of that clip as being a movie.
Really?
I don't know why, but I feel like there's like a Mr. Show movie that's like that clip but 2 hours long.
There is a Mr. Show movie called Run, Ronnie, Run, but it does not have any plot about blowing up the moon.
About blowing up the moon. Shame.
Just to give a taste to the listener here, I did put it in the notes just to play this the key part here.
Thank you very much. We have an announcement to make. On July 4th of this year, America will blow up the moon.
We have the technology. The time is now. Science can wait no longer. Children are our future. America can, should, must, and will blow up the moon.
Yes, and we'll be doing it during a full moon, so we make sure we get it all.
See, we need to get Trump to see this so that he can be like, wait, that is what I need to do. That will get all eyes off the Iran war. There'll be no more talk about the Strait. If he just goes big and decides to blow up the moon, I think it'll solve a lot of his problems. It might create new ones, though.
And the thing was, as we talked about on that old episode, there was a real university professor. Oh, fuck you, I fucking love science, turn off your ad blocker bullshit. You know what? It doesn't even matter. I don't want to give him my clicks. I mean, I guess I already did.
That's the spirit. Fuck science. This is
well, you know, I'm not gonna rehash the whole thing. That's kind of why I'm referencing the old episode. If you're really curious what the details, I guess you go back and listen to that. It's right up top there, sort of. But yeah, just a little walk down memory lane about how there was really a plan to blow up the moon, and it wasn't just to halt climate change. It was, if I'm remembering correctly, without being able to look at this article at the moment, a plan that would improve human life in every conceivable area, I believe. I want to get the exact quote here, but it was something.
I hate looking up at the full moon, and yeah, it would solve the werewolf problem.
There are all kinds of silver linings to this. And you bringing up Trump here also reminds me of, like, people, including myself, often remember and remind people that Trump once reportedly, in all earnest P-worldness, suggested that we should nuke a hurricane to stop it in its tracks, which of course he denied later. But I looked it up like kind of recently again for some reason. I was just like, I want to like see more like sort of details on that story or whatever, like who, you know, how it was relayed or whatever. And I found though that there was also a guy like this professor who was legitimately proposing to blow up the moon with nuclear weapons. There was supposedly a legitimate scientist out there before Trump, like in the 50s or something, who was proposing that we should use nukes to deter extreme weather like hurricanes, which made Trump like accidentally, I guess, not just a stupid person, but like, hey, he's on the level of a crank idiot scientist. So cut the guy some slack.
Has anyone done a breakdown of what would happen if we dropped a nuclear bomb into a hurricane?
Probably.
I'm sure someone has.
Probably.
I'll have to look that up later.
I
suggest everyone else do it too.
I listened back to some of the old episode of us talking about the moon blowing up theory, and I think I claimed something like, you know, the moon is so close that I imagine chunks of it would just hit the Earth in a pretty bad way. But maybe there's a way to, like, you know, place the weapons such that they detonated outward away from the Earth. I have no idea. But moving on, this sort of segues us into this thing you sent me yesterday. Liquid Death is asking people to mail their pee to AI data centers. So this is all sort of like reverse here. Reverse causation, traveling the reverse causation route of my mind. So I saw, this is what reminded me of the blowing up the moon, Musk crashing into the moon. Just the idea of like really sad attempts to do environmental things. I feel like this sort of falls under that. What do you make of this? I mean, you sent it to me.
It's more of a PR stunt because they don't actually want you to send P to the data centers.
Right,
If
but
they were firm about it, it would be better. I don't know. It is nice that the friendly water business, the friendly water business who's canning water and reselling it for a higher price, is also thinking that, hey, maybe these data centers suck.
yeah, like I like the sentiment, but I guess maybe it just reminded me of like those kind of like in vain attempts to counteract like this metaphorical and literal tsunami approaching of climate catastrophe by like, hey, if we just spread the word that these data centers are using too much water by doing this piss prank, whatever. I mean, of course, I'm not trying to be like, liquid death is the problem here. It's just what it reminded me of. Maybe especially since, as I mentioned last week, I guess I finally got around to reading that famously depressing book, Uninhabitable Earth. So maybe that's why it's all this shit is just top of mind, as they say, across the pond, I think. Joining the dots, as it were.
I haven't read that book, but I've heard of its. I don't know if I'm ready to read it. I'm already pretty depressed about the Earth as it is.
We were kind of like just writing that book over the course of 170 some podcast episodes together, I think. Around the same time, like right after it came out. So, you know. I mean, I did learn a bunch of new specifics, but like at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you could summarize it all as, yikes, how's this ever going to get fixed? Doesn't seem likely. File that under that, I guess. I guess then another dot to join to the other dot is in terms of campaigns, PR stunts and such. I like this one. I'll say this one has a more immediate effect on things than the send your piss to Sam Altman's house, which is my alternate version, by the way. I think that's, you know, why are you gonna make like some low, like even the evil like manager of a data center Data center at least deserves to handle your piss than Sam Altman. So, you know, cut out the middleman. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, my brief stint of 6 months at working at Walmart, there was one time working the customer service deck that someone threw a used condom at us and screamed, "This fucking broke. I want a refund." Which, as a lowly worker for an evil corporation,
feels a bit unfair.
Don't send your piss. Unless you send it to Sam, it's directly.
What I'm thinking now is I'm being reminded of a thing that was like back in the 90s, I want to say. Remember there was a guy who used to just like take cream pies, non-pornographic cream pies, and throw them in the faces of people like Bill Gates. I forget I don't know if they had like a very strong political angle.
Oh yeah,
or not.
I remember the clip of Bill getting pied.
Yeah,
I don't remember that guy's name.
It was I don't either, but it was the same person who like did it to like various, I think like generally considered harmful to society, celebrity types, business types. But I can't be bothered to look up the specifics. But I'm saying we do that with the piss jars to, let's name a few: Peter Thiel, Curtis Yarvin, J.D. Vance, Sam Altman, just all the technology brothers.
Why are you listing the Avengers?
And they've had it coming for a long time. Yeah. Their time in the sun is over.
I hope so.
But I like the idea to deflock the flock cameras on Halloween, because you've got a built-in disguise
safety measure. Yeah.
your Halloween costume. So I have a feeling that no matter the sort of advanced precautions, that this will take off in a way that will be interesting to watch. And I suggest people do it. In a legal sense, I want you to go out there. And I had a thought that I kind of referenced vaguely last week about, because the Eggman owns Flock, right? The guy with the egg head, Van Driesen. I think we should carefully, surgically take eggshell shards and super glue them or cement them over the Flock cameras to really send a message of, also your head looks like a damn egg, motherfucker. So this wasn't just a friendly destruction. But probably better just to there's I've seen so many how-to things on YouTube and whatnot, the short video formats of people going I absolutely do not want you to be able to disable a Flock camera, but if you were going to, here's how you should do it, that type of thing. So
yeah, I've seen a lot of 3D printed devices to put over the cameras.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't seen that.
Could just be, I was kind of looking into 3D printers. I did not buy a 3D printer, but sometimes in the middle of the night, I think it would kind of be nice to have a 3D printer. As we do in this consumer world, where occasionally you get in your brain, it's I wouldn't mind buying something if I had a little more money.
Yeah, you need
more time.
You need a dopamine hit, man. It's understandable. Yeah. We all do it.
3D printing seems like a cool hobby. Make things with a computer.
Yeah. I saw one in action in person for the first time, being used to make a cute little toy thing that my friend's kid had. And
nice.
Neat bit of technology there. If you can use it to fuck up a Flock camera, go right ahead, I say.
I know the Flock cameras suck, but what separates them from just standard old CCTV?
They're horrible AI that's used to operate them. The failure rate of having people have guns pulled on them because they're thought to be driving a stolen car, even though they're driving their own car. There's so many stories that keep coming out.
Okay, so they're basically Minority Report with a lot less accuracy.
Yeah. It's all the scary 1984 type shit, but done by morons who are just trying to make a quick, what do you call that currency?
Dollar.
Yeah.
We live in a country that's overran with CCTV, but it doesn't really bother me that much yet.
But there's I've been thinking about this because as known China glazer me, I can instantly see people being oh, you're always saying China's where it's at. Which I also never claimed China's a perfect utopia either, but people often try to talk about the advanced surveillance states in China. But even what China is doing right now, even in its greatest overreach, I don't think is nearly as bad as what Flock and Palantir are doing to the United States. Not to mention, I don't know, say Palestine.
Well, I don't like the ideal of AI profiling in the machines. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, it's just 100% bad, I would say, and mostly because the company has I would say pretty evil intentions.
Oh, Palantir? No way.
Palantir, Flock, yeah. Yeah, you sound honestly, you just did a perfect Joe Rogan impersonation right there of him being when he's shocked about stuff. Trump's how can that be legal? Someone told him, an idiot told Joe Rogan, I don't know, months ago or something, whatever that was. Yeah, Palantir's involved in doing AI targeting of people in Gaza. It helps to kill people. And he's just no way, man. This is common knowledge for a long time. I mean, that actually leads us right into the next bit here about Randy Fine. I mean, unless you have more thoughts on what we can do on Halloween, this is kind of being described as a viral campaign, and yes, like a purge night.
No, I think it sounds like a great night, and I would love to participate if I could.
I don't think Flock has reached Korea.
It hasn't. I think it's my understanding that it's just America-based at the moment.
But if a country outside of America were to adopt Flock, Korea would be at one of the in the top of the list, I would say.
Well, they already have the infrastructure set up. I imagine they have their own.
I don't know what they're doing as far as like pre-crimes and like how much AI is involved in the closed circuit cameras all around Korea, which there are a lot of, and like.
But they've really embraced AI here. But yeah, I think crime's just a little different too. Like they aren't trying to target the same type of crimes. They don't exactly have the same type of crime problems.
I mean, I think they also maybe legitimately use CCTV for, because there is an argument for like public cameras, which is like you can settle disputes of things that happened, you could solve murders, like blah blah blah. It's all true, but that's not the same as, well, then let some private company, whatever, in concert with the government or by hoodwinking the government or whatever, like just do whatever the fuck they want. Spy. I mean, like some of these stories are like already well out there. Like there was a guy like looking in on like a children's gymnastics class, and then
That's not creepy.
It was like it was like a major guy in the corporation, the Flock Corporation. And he said, "Oh, it was just like a demo to show investors or some bullshit." It's like, so what? Still, why do you choose this place? Like,
yeah, why children's? Is it like your kid in that class or something? You wanted to like see your kid?
And it was, I believe, it was something like, this is all just pure memory here, but
chose a middle school girls' locker room, just show capabilities.
Well, there is something like that. Oh, I just saw this morning of
course there is.
Like Arkansas, the state of Arkansas wants to include audio surveillance in school locker rooms or something like that. Something insane. But anyway, I
hate that.
Really got to keep myself on track here. Anyway, long story short, this Halloween, put your dollar where your mouth is and get out there and deflock, folks. But speaking, as I was a moment ago, about Palestine and Palantir, there's this guy who I believe I've never mentioned on the podcast, and now is as good a time as any to talk about to highlight what an absolute piece of shit Randy Fine is.
Oh, come on, he's fine.
This is why you got to come back, and be on the podcast whenever, man. We miss out on good jokes like that. And any reason to use a classic drop like that.
Thank you.
Is a reason to live one more day. Randy Fine is not fine, is what I'm saying. He's like probably, I don't know, on the same level of despicability as John Fetterman. Except I guess he's like officially a Republican. That's the only difference, maybe. He also looks like a larger, more mutated version of Itamar Ben-Gvir. Maybe the most.
Yeah, he really does. I had to look up a picture of him.
The most evil Nazi in Israel at the moment. Oh, Josh, that's crazy. Why would you call a Jewish person a Nazi? Why would you call?
He looks like he should
Israeli
be managing an Olive Garden.
Ben-Gvir or Randy Fine or both?
Randy Fine.
Yeah. Actually, it's pretty bad to say he's the uglier version of Ben-Gvir, uglier, fatter version of Ben-Gvir. Yeah. So to justify what I say about him being a Nazi, unnecessarily so, just the latest tidbit from Ben-Gvir here: Israeli minister, that's him, calls for killing of 30 to 40 people in Gaza every night. Quote, "There are people who are not worthy of life." They are not even people, he said.
The fuck?
He went on a podcast to which my little immediate reaction to this, I'll just, I guess, read what I wrote in the Discord here. Just watching Himmler, Goebbels, Mengele doing a podcast on a set that looks like every single other video podcast, casually talking about that part threw me. It had like the same kind of like soundproofing, like background of like every podcast these days. You know what I mean? Like the little, like the wooden, anyway, people who see it will know what I'm talking about. It just looks,
I know what you're talking
it looks like
about.
every
I've
fucking
seen them.
podcast. I don't know who's designing these things, but they all look exactly
Why don't you
the
have
same.
one of those rooms? Spend whatever money you have left to build one.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yes, looks like every other single video podcast set. So it's just like, my point is, it looks like more legitimate, right? It's in that same sort of like, it's probably like a nice camera setup with like the soft background, kind of like yours right now.
Two guys talking about hockey.
Yeah, stuff like that. Just sitting at the table, the little twee, cutely decorated background on the wall, whatever.
Signed Ted Lasso poster in the background.
Yeah, shit like that. You get what I'm saying, folks. But then it's, like I said, Himmler, Goebbels, Mengele, casually talking about how inhuman Arabs are, the need to casually slaughter them at a sustainable pace, etc.
Yeah, 30 to 40 a day. That way it doesn't get out of hand.
And I wondered aloud, will YouTube take this down?
No,
Maybe
of
he
course
just
not.
maybe he just needs to say unalive the non-human Arabs, and then it will be fine.
You could report them.
Also, it made me find out that there is a podcast, a Zionist podcast called the October 8th podcast, by the way, which is where this was from. Yeah, he did say specifically, I think targeted assassinations should be carried out in Gaza, taking down 30 to 40 every night. It's interesting how you just put like a range on. Like, he doesn't even make any attempt to be like militants, Hamas. Like, there's just no pretense whatsoever. And then, okay, yes. So he goes on to say, not just those who posed an immediate threat. There are people who are not worthy of life. They shouldn't live. They're not even people. I think later it even this was all translated, from Hebrew. I think what I saw was, it's generous of me to call them people, something like that, which is
Fuck.
all perfectly in line with this evil fuck.
Those beautiful people that give us useful tools like geometry. No, sorry. Like Iran.
You mean yes, the inhuman Arabs gave us geometry. I see, and Randy Fine / Ben Gavir should be more appreciative as lovers of maths.
I'm sure that he's probably just still pissed that he had to do proofs in high school, and he's like, fuck yeah, let's get rid of those motherfuckers. It's all their fault.
But an interesting source of all this mayhem and murder and hell on earth. Someone had an axe to grind with all mathematics since calculus.
Fuck Euclid.
Since algebra, I should say, or whatever. Calculus a little later, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Euclid. But Randy Fine did something stupid, shockingly. I mean, just to give his bona fides about being a piece of shit, he's just very seriously on television suggested we should nuke Gaza multiple times. Just the most reprehensible, disgusting person. I'm not...
No, he's a Florida man.
Look it up if you disagree, okay? But so this video went viral of him. Apparently he was like going door to door trying to get people to like his disgusting ass.
It is such a conservative thing to say, though, as we should just fucking nuke these places. I feel like I've heard conservative family members, anytime they just don't understand in the world, their go-to answer is like, I don't understand why we don't just use our nuclear bombs. I'm like, God damn it.
And now we have a president who also wonders the same things aloud, threatens the same things on a
I often wonder if
basis.
they really give them the codes.
Yeah.
I sometimes hope to hell that they didn't, but I'm sure they did.
Well, no, I mean, I'm sure he has them. I think the question would be if people would execute the order or not, right? That's where you got to really just suddenly believe in anything out there to make things better.
Well, the soldiers jumping off of aircraft carriers made me think maybe they wouldn't.
Wait, what do you mean?
Oh, just like there's been the conditions on some of the aircraft carriers in the Navy right now. Soldiers have been like committing suicide.
Yeah, like
I was just kind of like
the morale of the military, like yeah. There was that hilarious thing with the like stuff. Was it stuff written in like the you sent
one
the
of the
picture
wings of an airplane? Yeah, it was like stuff that soldiers had written on the airplane wings.
But did they write it, or did they like? Was it like dust, like carved out of dust, or was
it was like spray paint?
Oh, it was just like regular graffiti. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me, but I do remember one sentiment was BB's cucks, which a lot of people misread as BB sucks. Maybe not a lot of people, but I saw it more than one occasion. People thought it said BB sucks. Just want to clarify. No, they're saying we are BB's cucks. Which is a little more self-aware and self-damning, I would say.
What if I agree with both?
Well, sure. You're an across-the-aisle kind of guy that way. You're ready to come together with the opposition and agree to...
I realize that I am BB's cuck, and I also realize that BB sucks.
All right, so what Representative Randy Fine did here is he was caught on a ring camera, a close cousin to the flock camera, we could say even.
I was going to say, is that a flock camera?
He's like waiting for someone to come to the door, and you just see him. He literally does he might as well whistle and look side to side dramatically before he opens their mailbox. It just starts going through their fucking mail.
What?
Did you watch the video?
Awesome.
I mean, but then it gets even funnier than that, because Randy Fine came out and said, like, he didn't deny it. He said, "That's me. Ooh, TMZ. That's where you want to find stuff about elected politicians currently in power. That's where you hope they end up. The TMZ pages."
Don't you? You knock on someone's door, you see they're not home, you're like, oh, just look through their mail.
Well, I can't find... Yeah, sure. Whatever his fucking office said, they confirmed it, okay? Apparently. I can't find the exact quote for whatever reason.
Maybe he's neurodivergent. And his neurodivergence just makes him want to look at people's mail.
But then he comes out and says he doesn't remember doing it. This happened like days ago. And he said, quote, "I am not going to take accountability for something I don't know that I actually did." So he's like, his office says, yeah, that's him in the video. And then he says, who knows what's even real these days? Could be AI. To further explain himself, he goes, so he's asked, do you have any further comment on that video of you rifling through a mailbox? Yeah, I knocked on 500 doors in the last few days. In the last week, there's been videos of me with horns growing out of my head. Videos of me dressed like a cheerleader. Videos of me putting a swastika on my arm. I wonder why. Who would do such a thing, and for what reason? I don't even know that it's real. I certainly don't remember doing that, and I don't even know the video is real.
He doesn't remember putting a swastika on his arm?
Right. Well, he, not remembering doing that, he also doesn't remember rifling through this person's mail, which we should say is a federal offense punishable by, I don't know, prison, which would be awesome. But unfortunately, whoever the fucking cucked owner of this ring camera is declined to press charges. Probably some Floridian Zionist. Who knows? Maybe I could have looked into that before, but whatever.
I can understand declining to press charges just because it means you have to deal with legal stuff, and that's a giant pain no matter who you are.
You know what I just realized was going on too? Fucking, he's running against actual anti-Semite Dan Blazarian for the seat in the House.
Florida man.
Yeah. Florida man
Good old
Dan
Florida.
Blazarian, an actual anti-Semite who uses legitimate anti-Zionist causes as cover for his idiotic racist bullshit. It really sucks that who was like his top challenger. Fuck it. God, that sucks. That really sucks. Get a real fucking a real one in there next time, folks. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I will run for office in Florida somehow from Korea.
You got it, man.
I would love to unseat Randy Fine in more ways than one. You use your imagination on what that might actually look like. But
I mean, honestly, Randy should get out of his seat more often, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Just like John Fetterman, he needs Benjamin Netanyahu to personally come to Congress and deliver a rousing Hitlerian speech is the only thing that can get him to actually stand up physically and give a standing ovation. Randy Fine is the same. They're both big fat Zionists who only clap like seals for one man and one man alone. The also kind of obvious parallel I immediately drew when I saw this was what a perfectly Israeli thing to do, just like grabbing people's shit and then saying you didn't do it when you're caught with your hand in the metaphorical cookie jar and literal mailbox. So fuck Randy Fine. Also fuck Dan Blazarian. I just learned that right now, that he was the one trying to take him down. That sucks. It actually gives some kind of stupid legitimacy to Randy Fine in the minds of the dumbest people, but still, gotta do something about that. I guess that does connect with the next thing pretty decently as well, which, now that I'm looking at our time here, we're going to have to zoom past some of these and get to what we were really going to talk about today.
Oh, we just save what we really talk about for like a 10-minute segment.
The Asian continent. I guess we still got 45 minutes, maybe, if we really want to push it.
Breakthrough news. You keep talking.
I do love breakthrough news, and I'll just play this video instead of trying to explain it, and then we can react to it. Rania Kalik, major player at Breakthrough News, and awesome, true, real one.
Real quick though, the only thing I knew about this whole language about woke changing was I sometimes like the short videos that Man Carrying Books makes. I think that's what he's called. He did one about woke 1, woke 2, woke 3. They're all they're just stupid shorts. Anyways, I didn't realize this was a full-on thing until you sent me these notes the other day.
I mean, it's all kind of new to me as well, this idea of putting numbers after the word woke. But let's hear her argument for why this is a problem.
Woke 1 was crazy. Now, this is a new phrase that was floating around Democratic politics last week. Everyone from AOC to Zohran Mamdani is using it to describe 2020, the biggest uprising against police violence in this country's history, like it was some kind of fever dream. Zohran gets asked directly about walking back defund the police and doesn't defend the phrase at all, doesn't defend the moment. He just accepts the framing and moves on. This is a very real mechanism playing out in real time of a pivot to the right. 2020 was not some mass psychotic break. It was the largest uprising in modern American history, and it happened because tens of millions of people watched a police officer kneel on George Floyd's neck for over 9 minutes until he died. That is not crazy. That's the single most logical, most human reaction imaginable. Calling it crazy isn't just careless language, it's revisionist history, and it's unacceptable from politicians who...
Thoughts, feelings? I mean, there's a little more to the video, but that kind of gets at the whole point, I think.
In the moment, defund the police was a very popular fucking movement that, I don't fucking know. I am just pissed that, all of that anger and outrage seemed to be crushed under the foot of conservatism.
Yeah, meaning it's a bipartisan problem. At least that's how I read saying conservatism.
Yeah, I think that. I mean,
which is what she's getting at. She's talking specifically about.
I think the Democrats are complicit in. They don't want people to uprise. They don't want people to like really ask for change. They, capital T, they being Congress or the people in power, because there's an order to things, and if it gets upset too much, it would mean power structures might start to change. That's bad for them.
Sure. Like, but her point is like, more specific than that. She's talking specifically about this wave of DSA candidates / progressives. I mean, she's saying specifically AOC and Zoran have, she says it's not just like a slip of the tongue. She's reading this as like, this is how the Democratic Party disciplines the left flank, however minuscule it even is at the time. Like, just think back to all the dynamics basically since 2016 within the Democratic Party, I guess, between, back then it was called the Bernie-crats. Now they're the DSA candidates. Yeah. It's like the same thing. Like, people I think it's a good idea, as I've also said, to be cautiously optimistic about this sort of the insurgent wave, the DSA candidates, because Maybe.
I am optimistic because I look at what the Tea Party and then MAGA did to the conservative side. It is possible to change a political party from the inside for better.
But
or worse.
I don't even. But I would
better.
I would maybe argue that like that parallel shows that there's also. But then there's also MAGA is also failing pretty quickly. Like, it's already having to morph into something else, America First or whatever. But like, I see what you're saying. Like, they managed to like take power with people who identified as MAGA candidates, but like ultimately they're still carrying out the same agenda of the fucking Bush administration, if you ask me. No one else bombed Iran in the way that Trump did, but we've been keeping them under murderous sanctions for decades. Like, it's not like things were totally fine before. So I really am careful to use words like, we're living in unprecedented times. We've never seen shit like this before. And it's like, we kind of, it's true and not true. It's like technically true. Yes, the president never explicitly threatened Iran with ending their entire country with a nuclear weapon implicitly. That specific is true. How we're actually treating Iran, I don't know. But actually, this might be my cue to take a bathroom break because I can't fucking think clearly. All right, to like just basically wrap up this little portion here. The other thing that just bothered me about this, finding out about the existence of this concept of like woke 1, woke 2, woke 3, is just like the whole concept of woke is just fucking stupid to begin with. And I hate how anyone left of center even plays into it as it being real. Does that make any sense? Like, because obviously there's a thing that I would recognize as I guess woke. Maybe what bothers me is just this a child of the 90s or whatever. Like, it's just a continuation of the dumb conversation people were having then about PC culture and being PC and like basically like policing people's language too much or whatever. But it's just like protesting police violence and like a Gestapo presence is not being woke.
It's not woke. So my personal stance is I'm not really against the ideal of treating people fairly and try not to be like cruel with my words. I like that about woke. But I also don't like policing people about their opinions so much. God, it gets real muddy real fast whenever I try to put this into words. I think people should respect each other. That's what I'm trying to say. And I also think that like it's shitty of someone to like, treat them like shit because like they're different. But at the same time, I think it's kind of shitty to treat someone like shit for, maybe they're pointing out.
When you meet a person from France, for example, you shouldn't just say, the French. In fact, instead, you want to say something more like,
I like the guy.
Yeah.
Not.
Go to shut the fuck up, Bill, forever.
Or just say, and everything will work out just fine. But I agree with Rania Kolick and Breakthrough News. Shout out Breakthrough News. More people should like and subscribe to and whatever Breakthrough News. They deserve your money. And that's where insert some drop about give me your money. You know the one. You know the one, folks. Which I just don't have.
But
prescription jugs.
I'm surprised that they would even give a number to woke. Just one more thing on that. Because I really thought they were trying to distance themselves from the term completely because the Republicans have done so much work on making it like political suicide or whatever. People did not like seeing their favorite movie producers go to prison for doing things that were unwoke. Whilst the Republicans very mad about the Harvey Weinstein. Republicans very mad about the Harvey Weinstein stuff. It really motivated them to work against, peace and language.
Who?
Harry Weinstein? Harvey Weinstein? Who the fuck's the
you said
movie
something.
producer?
What did you? Anyway, I was just I don't know. I couldn't understand who. Did you say Wasserman? I heard the word Wasserman.
No, there was no Wasserman. More, I was talking about I was being sarcastic with the Weinstein stuff. It's more of woke. The word woke. I feel like MAGA or the Republicans have really weaponized the word woke into it being a very terrible thing for society, and it being the problem with liberals or leftists is that they're too fucking woke. And now it's just toxic to use that word in a political sense, if you want to win or get your messaging across, because even if there's good stuff to being woke, and there's some good reasons to be woke, in my opinion,
but that's why you have to define your terms when you're going to talk about this shit, because there's
exactly
fascist wokeism as well as communist wokeism, right? There's people use the same sort of grievance, language policing, whatever, to their ends. It's such stupid culture war bullshit conversation, I guess, is what I hate about the whole fucking thing. And then now, but now it's being leveraged into this watered down the fucking DSA platform stuff. So that is good reason for Rania, who is I guess me, sort of cautiously supportive of these insurgent campaigns for the most part. But she's also, calling out the early signs of this is how the DNC does it. It's a slow creep of no, we're just not going to use that word anymore. It's literally applying wokeism to let's not be too woke. It's so stupid. I just hate the whole fucking thing. So
I do too.
DSA/insurgent, whatever, candidates, less of saying stuff like this.
I am not a communist. I've never been a communist. I promise you, I never will be a communist.
And more saying stuff like,
we choose truth over facts.
And
prescription jugs.
And
all men and women created by you know the thing.
Be more like Biden in his best moments.
All men and women created by the thing.
It's true.
Those are my favorite men and women, actually.
All right. Also, I have just a general point about how pathetic Trump is lately, which I will summarize in a drop right now, and then we can move on past it, really. Notes here. Trump has really fallen off. Same old shit, though, too. His I don't know clip kind of sums up his overall state of mind when he's not having manic episodes in the middle of the night, getting his disgusting knob polished by the upright mammalian matrix printer / highly efficient Chinese suck-off machine. And that's that lady who, as I wrote here, note to self, I can't remember her name now as I typed these notes the night before. Let's see if I can remember by the time we're recording. I still don't remember her name, the lady that everyone thinks Trump is getting sucked off by, this incredibly weird, psychotic seeming woman who is very close to our psychotic president.
She used to be in a metal band.
Is that true?
It is true.
Well, now I got to rethink everything. But here's what Trump this is Trump's whole thing for the last several months, at least, is just this clip distilled.
I don't know. I think it's so unimportant. Here's what I would like to say. It's a yawn. Just about everything is a big yawn.
It's a big yawn.
My life is one big dark room.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Don't
Yeah,
you
that's the
dare
one.
say it again.
I don't know.
I just love the way he said this. For one, just the way he says, I don't know. He's so... But he can't be bothered. But the question they ask you right before that is about this housing bill that he basically used as kind of bait to dangle. I'm not going to sign this thing unless you do all this other illegal, insane shit I'm going after Congress. And of course, it's because, as he's literally said, I don't think at all about Americans' financial situation. He said that.
Of course he doesn't.
He said that knowing he was on the record, which is pretty funny.
That's why Americans fucking love him. He's not in your business, man.
When he didn't know he was on the record, it was like a private meeting or something. But there's just clear as day, whatever, footage of him talking about we can't afford child care, we can't afford medical care, we got a war going on. The states need to take that stuff over, and maybe we can lessen their taxes, maybe. So shocking stuff, I'm sure, to the audience of this podcast, but
I don't know.
Korea, folks. Korea. Let's talk about Korea, because last week...
Cyberpunk dystopia Korea.
The day...
Home of K-pop.
I recorded the last episode of this podcast was known as Liberation Day, when translated to English, of course, in Korea, where they celebrate their liberation from Japanese
Sorry.
That's what I was going to say. Japanese colonialism. Yes. But of course, as I have written here, Japanese/US occupation is kind of the topic I have in mind. But where to begin? How about just an overview of what's being celebrated here, in which I can read a little bit. I have a couple more shout outs this week I want to give. Let's just listen to this clip.
Okay.
In the text description here, this is from something called Sovereign Media, which I've only discovered recently, which is looks like a good, sort of anti-imperialist type, leftistly aligned media outfit. It seems like they only are on Instagram, which...
Everything's moving to Instagram.
I fucking hate Instagram, by the way. I just want to say this. I find it almost impossible to log in on the PC. And anyway, I hate when I find videos that have clips that are only on Instagram.
It's a notoriously bad PC experience.
Yeah, and intentionally so, because they want you to be on the fucking app, getting all the goddamn ads, whatever, etc. And just logged in at all times. But we can listen to this. I just can't really manipulate anything else about it. So here we go, explaining a little bit of an overview here.
Years ago, or so they want you to believe. In reality, Western powers want you to forget. They want you to believe the war began in June 1950, when North Korean forces crossed the 38th parallel, and not to ask why the peninsula was divided there to begin with. The truth is, Korea had never been split like that before. In 1945, Japan's defeat ended 35 years of brutal colonial rule. Koreans rose up to form a united, left-wing People's Republic, but U.S. troops acted immediately to crush it south of the 38th parallel, replacing one colonial occupier with another, virtually overnight. They installed their puppet right-wing dictator Syngman Rhee through a rigged election boycotted by Korean patriots. When the people of Jeju Island rose up to resist this coup, Rhee's US-backed forces massacred 10% of its population. By 1950, only North Korea was free of foreign troops under the leadership of Kim Il-sung, a hero of the guerrilla war against Japanese colonialism.
For some reason, maybe an ESL thing, I don't know. He said guerrilla war, not guerrilla war, but I don't know. Maybe that's the right way to say the word. It's probably French or something, and I'm the idiot.
So when the Korean People's Army crossed the 38th parallel, they weren't invading another sovereign country. They were fighting to liberate their own. And with the masses behind them, they almost pulled it off. Only massive US intervention saved Rhee from total defeat. And US troops didn't even try to hide their murderous contempt for all ordinary Koreans, North and South alike. Over 3 days in late July 1950, they machine-gunned civilian refugees trapped under a bridge in the South Korean town of Nogunri, slaughtering over 400 in a massacre immortalized by Pablo Picasso. As Air Force General Curtis LeMay openly admitted, the US burned down every town in North Korea and killed off 20% of the population of Korea.
That right there, I just saw the document they were highlighting, and it literally, it was like an official military type document, and it's literally said, we killed off 20%.
That's so fucked.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, I knew that before, but seeing the specific language, yeah. And, well, yes, like taking in like crimes of this magnitude is impossible to really, I don't know. But I'll just let him finish here.
Dropping more bombs than the entire Pacific theater of World War II. Through such savagery, they pushed all the way to the Chinese border. But to the imperialists' horror, the Chinese People's Volunteers, less than a year after their own socialist revolution, were able to roll US-led forces all the way back to the 38th parallel. What followed was over 2 years of bloody stalemate and the needless loss of over 1 million lives as the US dragged out negotiations while bombing the negotiators. The same tactic the US and Israel would later perfect in Doha, and then in Tehran not long after. But on the 27th of July 1953, 3 years to the day after Nogunri, China and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea dealt imperialism a historic defeat by forcing the US to sign a humiliating armistice. It was supposed to lead to a permanent peace treaty, but for over 7 decades, the US has refused to sign one. China held up its end of the agreement, withdrawing all its forces from Korea by 1958.
Interesting. I'll just say that. Interesting. The differences between China and the United States, even back here, the late 50s.
Wait, China held up their agreement?
Yeah, there's no Chinese bases in North Korea. There's 80 or I don't know, 60 some? I can't even remember in Korea, South Korea. U.S. bases, I should say. Did I say that? Anyway, sorry. I think this is almost over.
1961, it signed a mutual defense pact with the DPRK, which to this day remains China's only formal military ally, not as a dependent vassal, but as a sovereign partner. It's no accident that Chinese President Xi Jinping's first foreign visit of 2026 was to DPRK leader Kim Jong-un in Pyongyang. South of the DMZ, the story couldn't be more different. The US propped up a string of military dictators, from Syngman Rhee to Park Chung-hee to Chun Doo-hwan. General Xavier Brunson, commander of US Forces Korea, who called South Korea the dagger in the heart of Asia, and a fixed aircraft carrier between Japan and China.
That's interesting language there, too. It says here, South Korea as looking like a quote-unquote fixed aircraft carrier between Japan and China. This was like a fairly recently said thing, too. Which is exactly the language used to describe what Israel is. The unsinkable aircraft carrier in the Middle East. So, shocking to everyone here, I'm sure, but worth pointing out.
As wartime command of its entire 500,000-strong military. Meanwhile, 28,000 U.S. troops remain stationed in the ROK, occupying over 60 military bases across the country, poisoning the land and terrorizing the local population. In August, I'll be visiting some of these frontline communities to report on their decades of resistance to U.S. occupation as part of the U.S. Out of Korea Taju Solidarity Brigade, led by the Korean diaspora anti-imperialist organization NODUDO. So don't be fooled. The U.S. war has never ended, but neither has Korea's long struggle for self-determination.
The poisoning the land thing, I want to talk about that for just a brief second.
Yeah.
Because, the Yongsan base has been in the process of being closed down for a few years now.
Yeah, very slowly. Which,
well, part of the problem is they want to turn it into a park.
For listeners, they don't know what, that's the biggest military base in Korea. No, not the biggest, but sort of the most.
It's not the biggest, but it was the most
centralized,
famous, I guess. Central. Yeah, that's a better word than famous. Because it was right in the heart of Seoul. Literally,
right where
the very
we
middle
live
of Seoul.
Currently, very close to where you and I both live.
Very close. Well, they want to turn it into a park now that the base has been closed down, but the land is so polluted that they have to figure out how to move all the dirt out of it before it could even possibly be used as a park.
That's the reason.
Because of all the pesticides and chemicals left behind by the base.
When I heard it was going to be turned into a park, I was like, right on. But then I believe my wife, still kind of a new thing to say out loud.
I fucking hate parks. I hope they turn it into a shopping complex.
She said, I hate parks. No, she said though that it would probably just be a shopping complex called with a little bit of grass. I don't know. I don't know what the real plans are for that, but
there's a fight over it right now in
I think that's
Korean Congress.
Maybe that's the real reason it's delayed so many years. Because there is just a big, completely empty but still guarded, and the
embassy village is still there.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Then that makes more sense why they have the barbed wire and the guards there.
Got to keep those ambassadors safe.
That's a lot of information, I guess, the historical context here. But so on Liberation Day, August 15th, there were. They also mentioned this group called Nodutol, which means basically stepping stone, I think, in Korean.
Yeah.
They're a group of. I'm kind of new to this organization, but I like them. I've been seeing their videos on Instagram, and I just found out they have a YouTube page, which thank fucking God, because I'm sick of having to do these dumb Instagram workarounds. Life is hard, folks, when you have to deal with certain apps.
You got to decide your lesser evil, Alphabet or Meta.
I have chosen sides on that, I guess. I
just want to say that Mozilla is better, notably better than both of them.
That's what I thought. I thought I was pretty right about that last week. But both of these groups, they're highlighting the fact that there are, in one of the videos, the guy says, all of Korea wants this. And wants this, he means the total expulsion of U.S. military presence.
That is not.
It's not true. It's not true at all, unfortunately. But I just want to highlight the fact that there are people in this country, as marginalized as they are, and as small of a group as it is, that is trying to decolonize the place. And also, both of these groups are ultimately interested in reunification of some sort with North Korea. And the Nodutol, they're diaspora Koreans, I guess you would say. Yes, they all live in other countries. I think mostly Western English speaking, whatever type places. But they're a good organization. They do real activism here. And I guess just, a shout out to them. Check out more of their stuff. I'll reference some more of their stuff here in a second too. But they talked about, for example, the longest grave in the world, as it was put, which was the result of, which I can't play because of the stupid Instagram thing, but that horrible massacre in Jeju Island, which is part of South Korea, by the way. I think it was 1948 or 49. Just huge, just outright mass grave, just horrendous.
7,000 people buried there? Around 7,000?
Is that it? I thought it was even more, but or more killed maybe and not buried there. But it's very bad and like hugely overlooked. And I could be wrong about this. You might even know, Jason. I feel like this event gets way less play than the Gwangju massacre in South Korean society. Am I right or wrong about that?
I think they both get about equal play.
Are there movies about the Jeju massacre in the way that they?
There is, and Honggang, the person who wrote about the book that Human Acts, she has a book about the Jeju massacre that I haven't read.
He is
yet.
a major author. That's true, but you know what I'm saying about like whenever I see like remember like solemn memorials to things, it's always Gwangju stuff, and I've never.
I think the Gwangju thing's a little bigger because it was Gwangju. The unique thing about it is it was fucking students. It was basically high school seniors and like college students, and people get more upset about kids, which I still consider that kids. I mean, the Jeju thing is just as bad.
No, it's worse. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not 7,000. It's about 30,000 people. 25 to 30.
Wow, 30,000.
Yes, this is like a huge 10% of the population of the island, and it's to me as still an outsider, despite living here, I feel like it's just talked about way less often. Because I've also like just anecdotally brought it up in conversation, maybe with people who don't really.
Could be because it's an island. It's like not mainland.
I don't know. I think it's just it's not talked about in like mainstream history as much. And the reasons why, I guess I can't even really give a good articulation of, other than I suspect it has something to do with just certain positions on socialism. But the reason I can't say for sure right now, just with pure memory, and I'm not going to like research this, time constraints, whatever, is that I think the uprising in Jeju was more explicitly socialist, is what I'm trying to say.
Jeju's violence sparked from localized resistance and a communist-led armed uprising against separate peninsula elections and right-wing suppression. Gwangju's violence was triggered by mass pro-democracy student demonstrations demanding the end of martial law and democratization after the 1979 coup.
And that in Gwangju, it was like you said, student uprisings, and they were demanding like kind of just a generalized blanketed idea of democracy. Like, give us, I've said this before, but like, please give us fake elections. We'll even take fake ones. Like, just put on a show at least that we're not.
I mean, well, that
we're not just purely a military dictatorship.
They were very upset with the people the U.S. put in power, in both of them. But yeah, I agree. I think that could be part of it.
It's possible.
And the Gwangju massacre, maybe part of why it's talked about more is it's more recent. So it's like fresher in people's minds.
It is more recent, it's true, but it's like, I don't know. To me, like, this should be talked about in the same tone of voice that we talk about, like, I don't know, anything else at this level. Like, I was going to say the Holocaust, and then I thought of a bunch of other like dark periods in history that, like, I don't know, the West, America, whatever, like, doesn't know anything about. So maybe that's just a problem in general too, of our selective memory about tragedies, but. That's more of a side point, I guess.
There was a movie from last year that I didn't get around to watching called My Name that's about the Jeju massacre that I kept meaning to watch.
Interesting. I should just like
got like really good reviews.
I should just research this stuff more. I think
but I haven't seen it. I just know that it got really good reviews and it was like on my list. But you know how lists are of like to watch. There's a lot of fucking content to watch. Oh, you're right. It was 30,000. Where did I get 7,000 from?
I don't know. It might. I mean, maybe that's like the mass grave is because this happened over a period of years. It wasn't just like a sort of, I don't know, more compressed event, but there were compressed events of like mass slaughter. Obviously, you don't get up to 30,000 deaths over the course of 4 or 5 years. By hitting them one at a time, I would say. Anyway, So also last week there were marches in Seoul of this variety, literally, and in Daegu, which is where they're reporting the world's longest grave news from, which I can't play you right now because it's restricted Instagram bullshit. But also there was a march on the actual largest U.S. base. And let's just listen to that.
Outside of North America, behind me, it's trade unions, it's student organizations, it's the wide masses of people, and the demand is singular and clear. It's U.S.
It's Camp Humphreys.
Out of Korea and nothing else. An end to the U.S. ROK alliance. The entire people of South Korea are here.
That's him saying the entire people of South Korea are here. And look, I love these guys. I'm supporting them. That's why I'm putting this out here. But it's a weird thing to say the entire people. Whatever.
And one thing only. The question is, where are the people of the United States? Do you support imperialism? Do you support occupation? If you don't, then come out for the U.S. Out of Korea campaign's National Day of Action on Saturday, August 15th at a city near you. Find us.
So they're very clear and to the point. You see signs being waved at these protests saying, Miguk Naga! U.S., get out.
I've had that said to me.
Literally.
Like in certain bars and restaurants. It's been a while.
Did they say America or did they say Migukin? American person.
They might have said Weigukin, but same thing.
Yes, all the foreigners are American in Korea.
They might have said Yankee.
I was told Naga by an old lady in the swimming pool, which I talked about on the podcast, I don't know, a couple of months ago. But what else do we have here? I have some stuff here about the celebration of Japan being liberated from Imperial Japan, but then noticing that without skipping a beat, the foreign occupation was just handed off to the United States. I guess this is a controversial thing to say in the mainstream world somehow, but it's pretty fucking clear if you just look at the history, which I already I let that other person summarize for us. And I've already kind of gone off about that opinion poll I saw where Koreans still place the United States as their most favored country outside of itself, Japan second, and then China was kind of way down third place. Seems like weird priority.
The blatant racism of Koreans really fucking hate Chinese people, and sometimes it confuses the fuck out of me. Anytime I talk or hear a Korean talk about I guess Korean Chinese descendant people, they're basically stereotyped as the criminals of Korea.
The sentiment is really deep, and there's definitely ongoing. I've seen with my own two eyes the astroturfing fucking idiots who come out and hold signs in English that say CCP out of Korea and shit like that. It is just an incredibly. Look, we're all brainwashed to some degree. So I'm really not even talking down here.
Yeah, you're brainwashed by the CCP.
Right, I'm brainwashed by China, and then most Koreans are brainwashed by the United States' blatant, ridiculous, insane colonial propaganda, just trying to keep it under its boot. It's so obvious. Don't go to China. But maybe we can kind of skip some of the detailed shit I had about Japan here because I think we have to, and just get into the shit about Trump trying to distance the U.S. from South Korea. Quote, supposedly that's what's going on here. I tend to think he's motivated by something else, but
we can't afford the alliance anymore. We can't afford the alliance.
Right, we're in a war with Iran. We can't be friends with South Korea.
We don't have time for this shit. I will laugh if his actions are what actually kind of reunifies South and North Korea. I don't think real reunification East-West Germany's in the books, to be honest. But I could see at some point the proverbial wall coming down and the two countries opening borders. I think that could happen at some point. But I don't know how, because I imagine that North Korea is always just treated like Cuba. In that, I don't think the U.S. will ever really allow that to happen.
Yeah, so the way you fix that is the U.S. loses its standing as global hegemon and all that. And then
we seem to be speedrunning to.
We're there. I think it's just a
matter of
I was
time.
gonna say multipolar it's a bipolar world we're living in. Not really multi so much as like beyond two. But it does seem sort of just like a hey world, who you gonna go with, China or this like insane declining diseased empire called the United States? I think Koreans will like hold out for a long time before they swing to the other side, probably. But there will just be certain economic realities that are like too much, that like transcend any kind of like brainwashing ideology, whatever. I think ultimately.
I mean, economic side, Korea makes a lot of money from the U.S., vice versa. Like they have a vested interest in the alliance, that class of people.
I imagine Korea is pretty reliant on materials from China as well, though.
Well, everyone is.
That's what I'm saying.
But they're reliant on selling stuff to the U.S.
In the current setup, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I can theoretically see how these things shift. I mean, in our lifetime, almost certainly not, I guess. But, like, in a longer timeline, I don't know. I guess I would never say never on something like reunification or on Cuba eventually being, getting like basic human dignity from the rest of the world. But Trump, here's how I first discovered this. Breaking! This is a YouTube headline from Midas Touch. Breaking! Trump makes fatal deal with North Korea! Multiple perplexed question marks. To which I said, good timing with Liberation Day. Holy shit. Yeah, Trump basically came out and you put his tweet here. So let's just, let's read his stupid tweet. Gonna skip the accent, skip the Trump voice, use my own voice. Based on my very good relationship with Kim Jong-un of North Korea. Oh, thank you for clarifying, sir.
I love picturing them playing basketball together.
I'm not happy with the fact that the United States has long ago agreed to participate in joint military exercises with South Korea. Did he ever voice these frustrations in 2016 era Trump? I don't know.
Not so much.
He may have, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. He's basically like, he made it sound, he used a tone of voice in which he makes it sound like we're breaking up with South Korea and going to join up with North Korea, which is not really.
It reads that way.
I guess so, but it's also like he's also just doing his typical headline grabbing bullshit, because what he's actually proposing is such a minor stupid thing. He's like, we're going to slightly do less military exercises, and he like announced it on the day of the particular military exercises. It was just like a classic chaotic Trump fucking look at me over here and don't look at this over here thing. Me and you were like chatting about this off mic, whatever, a little bit, and like this recent big economic, monetary, global type shift with the Japanese yen taking place like basically at the same time. And I was just like vaguely wondering, I mean, I don't even know how it would connect, honestly, but if there's any sort of connection there with like just trying to move markets or put pressure on Japan or something to accept.
I don't know if this specifically puts, but I could see it. I'm not exactly sure how it specifically puts pressure on
I'd
Japan.
have to think way harder about it, but I'm just throwing that out there.
We're obviously not going to throw away our alliance with South Korea as long as we keep leaning our economy against AI and data centers, because Korea is making all the memory. They're basically the only people with the facilities to make the memories at the moment. Though China nearly crashed the market the other day because they're building 5 facilities that can output more memory than Korea can, which people are worried about. People have to make the choice of, do we buy the Chinese memory or the Korean memory at that point? But anyways,
I think history has proven that people will go with the cheaper Chinese products usually,
if they're allowed.
Yeah, electric cars off limits, of course.
Electric robots no longer allowed in America. I love my electric robot vacuum cleaner. It's maybe the best thing I've ever bought. I get a dopamine hit every time I see it wandering around my house with the cat ears I glued to it.
Wandering around, like you anthropomorphizing it that way. It's just like me. It's puttering around the house.
Doing the same thing. No ankles, though.
Sidebar on Midas Touch, this liberal outlet that's like incredibly huge now that I never heard of until...
I've never heard of them until you sent me these notes.
They eclipsed the Joe Rogan podcast like a year ago is how I first heard about them.
That's a big deal.
And I've been getting some of their videos in my YouTube feeds and whatnot lately. And yeah, that's who
Question.
was... yeah.
Why haven't you eclipsed the Joe Rogan podcast? What are you doing?
Never promoting the podcast, having a shitty podcast, you know, I'll get there eventually.
Aw. I believe in you.
But what I had to say about this in the moment was this goddamn Midas fucking idiot just made up total lies about the DPRK nuclear status. He said that North Korea didn't get the nukes until Trump came into office and that Obama actively prevented them from getting nukes. They got nukes in 2006, dumb fuck. So fuck you. Because he was just doing this, like, what they do, because they're liberals, is like they just do the conservative arguments for conservatives with this fucking veneer of, you know, but just with like Trump derangements
veneer
grafted on top of it. Like they actually are poster boys of Trump derangement syndrome. If you look at their YouTube output, it's just the thumbnails and titles alone. It's like these people are actually like led by nothing but like this all-consuming rage towards a single man, Donald Trump. Which, you know, I understand. I can see how someone gets there or whatever, but it's like, I don't know. Also kind of fuck these guys is what I'm saying. Because they're missing the entire history, which you just kind of went through about Korea. He also said some bullshit about like North Korea will try to nuke Alaska or China will try to nuke Alaska because of this. And like, this is how dangerous Donald Trump is. He's joining hands with dangerous dictators around the world to nuke Alaska. Like, so fuck Midas Touch is all I'm saying. More breakthrough news / Nodutol and what was the other one? They had a more generic name. Sovereign Media and less Midas Touch nonsense. I mean, what they are good for is just up-to-date minutia on anything Donald Trump is doing throughout the day. Like they update their channel like every 10 minutes.
What did he do
with
now?
Another hysterical like title that doesn't quite match with reality, even though it's not necessarily lying per se. But anyway, most hilarious thing about all this is that soon after Trump pulled this move, as Nodutol showed here in this little explainer graphic thing, while many will try to claim Trump endangered South Korea by canceling a handful of U.S. military drills, this is not true. The idea that the U.S. protects Korea is ahistorical, paternalistic, and racist. Shit, that's part of what I wanted to read, but not what I wanted to read the first thing. North Korea rejects Trump's fake peace offer is the headline. Quote, calling it unworthy of comment. This is Pyongyang here. Saying it's unworthy of comment and quote, we have no interest in it at all. Which really got a chuckle out of me. The idea of Trump seeing this, which he probably is being shielded from seeing by the human.
Yeah, he has a special helper that does that for him.
The human mouth printer, whatever her name, the walking matrix dot printer. So yes, North Korea basically just like shot down Trump's I was trying to think of like those, what do they call themselves? Seduction artists.
Pickup
artists. Pickup artist lingo about like negging or whatever. So maybe North Korea is just negging Trump here. It's also possible because as people have historically pointed out in the past, there's some sort of like love letter style correspondence between one Don Trump and one what did Trump call him? Rocket Man? Yes, Mr. Rocket Man.
Yeah, Rocket Man. That's from first term. I haven't heard that in a while.
It's an oldie, but I was going to say goodie. But it's just
Goodie.
the dumbest shit.
It is.
This Nodutal explainer also adds that so it's rejecting this fake peace officer. It describes that the real motive for all of this, I'll just read what they say here. The real motive was the war on Iran. Unable to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. is facing a major shortage of military weaponry and has even been forced to divert its last remaining aircraft carrier in the Pacific towards West Asia. That's, yeah, we talked about that last week, whatever. The reality of attrition has made continuing with Ulchi Freedom Shield untenable. That's the name of the military drills the U.S. usually was supposed to do in full with South Korea. It's made them untenable. The sudden nature of Trump's announcement is also a major clue. Were Washington to have acted out of serious desire to engage Pyongyang, this reduction would have been announced months ago, not the morning that the drills were about to start, which is kind of what I was trying to get at earlier. Just the timing is just classic chaotic Trump shit. And to me, that is what they're saying there. That is all just bound up with this problem with the Japanese currency and Japan's ability to, if it wanted to, I don't know, tank the entire United States government, economy, rather. I mean, what would happen if they sold off all of their U.S. debt in one fell swoop? That would be like
chaos. I mean, it would take their economy too, but it would just take everything, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
They should do it
Yeah.
as a science experiment.
I mean, not to...
all the economies are interconnected, so I think it just takes everything. It's all like a paper house,
you think
right?
the
Like
Japanese would be willing to fall on their sword, so to speak? You know what I'm saying? But
that Japan's dead. Maybe it actually. Some people would argue that Japan
never existed. Yeah. But we actually, man, I can't open that can of worms. We have to wrap up the episode here.
Yeah. I need to get ready for child wrangling.
I'll just say, if you check the show description, show notes, whatever, there'll be a link to a longer video by Breakthrough News with I believe the head of Nodutol, the group I've been referencing here, Ju Hyung Park. It's a longer interview they did with him about this subject, and it's worth listening to. It basically expands upon this little infographic I was just kind of using. To end on a happy note, I guess. Seoul to cover all sidewalks with shade by 2028 to combat heat wave.
Sounds awesome.
Shout out Carl from the Discord, who made a good point about this. He said, anecdotal, but I think this is the heat wave that finally broke the umbrella gender divide. Since I moved here, I only saw women using umbrellas for shade until this summer. Now men are using them too. This was also a similar experience for me moving here. I'm sure it was the same for you.
I'm a noted hater of umbrellas. Just want to throw that out there.
I've used one a couple of times during the heat wave this summer when I've been outside.
Oh, I know they're effective. I just don't like the amount of space they take up.
They do collapse and take up less space.
No, I meant like when I'm walking and other people are using them.
You just got to raise them up. I always raise mine really high and like give people kind of a look like, so I'm the one who has to do this, huh? You're making me do it?
Yeah.
All right, fuck you. I'm the better man. Also, I think Carl had another point I wanted to shout out here about the reduction of military drills between the U.S. and South Korea. He said, guaranteed that the biggest reductions would be to exercises involving interceptor missiles since they don't have extras to spare. That's a good point to remind me also that part of Trump's like reasoning for like talking shit about South Korea, which he's said this a few times now, but he just said it again. Like, I asked them to help. I said, hey, if you feel like it, you could help us with Iran, but you don't need to. We don't need your help. We already defeated their military, blah, blah, blah. He said the same shit as he always does. But then it always morphs into, then he's still mad about it. He's like, as he's talking, he's like, I told him it's okay, don't worry about it. But then they said, no, we don't want to do it. I said, oh, so now you don't want to do it. We help you. Why aren't you going to help us? And he has this whole notion of like, the U.S. does so much for South Korea. It's like, we are colonial like custodians at best at this point. But whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, we took the defenses that the U.S. military had installed, like anti-aircraft type interceptors.
Yeah, the THAAD system.
Yes, the THAAD and the Patriot system, and took them to use them on Iran and had them blown up by Iran, I believe, maybe both of them. You know, you can fact check me on that, but it will just suffice to say it didn't really help the cause ultimately of defeating Iran to do that. But we have to go. I'm sorry if I'm making you late to work, man.
No, let's do recommendations real quick and
all right.
end it.
You got something to recommend?
Yeah, I'll recommend a couple of things. One of them's embarrassing and one of them's less embarrassing. The first one, I'll go with the less embarrassing first, is Jadugar, Witch in Mongolia, which is a anime based on a manga, which they usually are. I love it. It's by my probably favorite anime studio, Saru. But it's about a Iranian girl who is sold into slavery in the 13th century. And the house that she's sold to is like this scholarly Iranian house. And she comes to love that family. Then the Mongols invade and enslave all the people of Iran, and it's very sad. But it's basically about Mongolia and the Khans. It's very good. It's very depressing, but it's the art's beautiful. The other one I'll suggest is, the internet craze. I'm going to get shit for this, but goddamn, I really like the Dungeon Carl books. I hate myself. I told myself I wouldn't read them. Then I read them. They're basically just like a modern retelling of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Good stuff. Good anti-capitalist stuff. Because I'd say the whole bit in the books, especially the later books, is just how shitty living in a capitalist society is.
On a scale of depressing from
I wish I could cheer you up, but I can't.
To how depressing is it? I was going to say on a scale of something to Grave of Fireflies, how depressing is it? Maybe that's more.
It's not as depressing. There's parts that are pretty depressing. I don't think it reaches like the full level of depression of Grave of Fireflies, because like Grave of Fireflies is so isolated on like just watching these two kids grow up in like war-torn Japan.
Yeah.
Where this one is more of like following this one's more of a revenge story, because basically the slave girl is very smart, and it's about her basically being so mad at the Mongols who ruined her previous life that she uses her intellect to extract revenge. I haven't got to that part yet, but I imagine there will be a payoff to where I'm like less depressed. But it's good. It's a really good story. I highly recommend it. But it's a little hard to watch just with all this stuff going on in Iran right now.
Yeah, I can.
If that makes sense.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I will recommend a little Netflix series called Tires. I just watched the 3rd season of it, which I feel like might be the best of the 3. I have watched them all. I think
like tires on a car,
like on a car.
Okay, just making sure. I haven't heard of it, so I have to look at it.
It's good. I mean, I think the reason I even watched it at all was because Stavros Halkias is in it, who I'm a fan of. These days, I think there's a real Stavros Renaissance, whatever, happening at the moment.
Does seem to be. I see him a lot more these days,
and it's funny. And I don't know, whatever. If you're the type of person who has like weird reservations about Shane Gillis or something, I would say set those aside. And I actually thought he was maybe weirdly the best part of this season. Anyway, it's just like a very easy, chill kind of comedy sitcom. Check it out. I guess specifically the 3rd season, but I guess you'd maybe want to jump in from the first if you really want to know what's going on. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. Go to our Discord and join it. Check out the show description where you find links to all kinds of things, including recommended stuff and a link to the Discord and all of that. You may even want to go to a thing I'm a big fan of. I've often said
I'm a big fan of the website findagrave.com.
And click like and subscribe and all the clicks. And what else do I say here? Tim's not here, but this is the part where he would promote his other podcast, his first podcast, QNTR. Check that out. Okay, and as always, don't kill yourself. Join a labor union, and blowing up the moon on the 4th of July is the highest form of praxis. Good night, good luck, good morning, Vietnam.
Yep, good luck, everyone. Don't die out there. Be careful.
사려고 해요 사려고 해요 사려고 하네 이른 저녁은 요리하려고 해요 요리하려고 해요 요리하려고 맥주 한잔 하고 싶을 때 같이 얘기하고 뭔가 먹을 수 있는 사람 있는 게 좋을 것 같아요 소주 한잔 하고 싶을 때 같이 싸우고 생각할 수 있는 사람 있는 게 좋을 것 같아요 이른 영화를 보려고 해요 보려고 해요 보려고 하네 이른 밴드를 하려고 해요 하려고 해요 금전치마처럼 맥주 한잔 하고 싶을 때 같이 얘기하고 뭔가 먹을 수 있는 사람 있는 게 좋을 것 같아요 소주 한잔 하고 싶을 때 같이 싸우고 생각할 수 있는 사람 있는 게 좋을 것 같아요
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?
Okay, I'm recording. It looks good. Like it should. Like I remember it looking in the past. I'm using a new version of Audacity. I kind of wish I would have downloaded the old freeware version.
Yeah, I
couldn't
stick
find
with
the
a very
link this morning.
I stick with a very particular old version just because it's what I'm used to. It's mine is 2.4.2 is to me like the classic. I mean, it's probably not better or anything. There's probably like the newer versions probably are objectively better. It's just the interface.
No,
and
they're
layout.
not.
Well, the interface and layout just pisses me off to the point where I'm like, fuck this. I just don't like how it operates. And it could be a preference of like, I've been on an editing machine for like thousands of hours now over the years. So I just like the original one. Although originally I was using that online software for like the first like, I don't know, 10 episodes or something.
I forgot about that online software.
That has the original
Monopoly episode.
Oh, probably that too. But the intro,
The
music,
never aired episode.
It's where
I don't think it was ever aired.
It's where I layered together the intro music, and then so like if I ever wanted to like remaster that track, I can't. I'm pretty sure like everything associated with that account is just gone.
A lot of people don't know that originally Heat Death of the Universe was supposed to be Jason and Josh plays Monopoly, and we were going to play a game of Monopoly every week and just record the Monopoly audio only.
It would be funny if I still had access to that episode we never put out. There's like 2 or 3 episodes I never put out with me and Tim for probably dumb reasons where I was like, oh, this like just feeling shitty and like having no confidence. Like everything sucks. Just like, oh, fuck this. This didn't go how I wanted. And thinking like, oh, we'll put it out later as a bonus or something. And then like, it just like disappears or whatever. I don't know. We did one that I was like really excited about, and I thought it was like a great idea. And then like the end product, I was just like, this sucks. I didn't say anything I wanted to say. We were trying to review the movie Her and Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Like it, and
to show the parallels between the two films.
Parallels and the history of like people talking about Idiocracy as like a documentary and all that stuff. And like, I had all these like, you know, at the time, like sort of like deep feeling thoughts about Her after I rewatched it. And like, I just couldn't like explain it well.
Idiocracy is kind of a utopia though, right? Because it takes place in a post-scarcity world where you don't even have to drink water because you just have energy drinks.
It's true. It's all for the best. I saw something about like the other day. It's just like a podcast clip or whatever. And it was like, I think it was Conan O'Brien talking to Luke Wilson about Idiocracy. That's what it was. And he was pointing out he loved the detail in the background of that movie of how the high rises are like leaning and toppling over, but they're just being held together with like string to like keep them upright. The way you, I don't know, what people do with like plants and shit to make them grow in different directions. It's smart. A building is a lot like a plant when you think about it, when you really think about it. All right, I need to get my water and coffee, and then I'll be ready to really start here in a second. So I like finally kind of injured myself in the gym.
Oh no!
Like,
I've done that a few times.
Yeah, you were telling me you like always end up kind of hurting your shoulder. I like fucked up my foot, which really really sucks because then you like truly can't do anything because like just regular walking was like really like I was like hobbling, like it was just very difficult.
What'd you do to mess up your foot?
And the thing was, is I didn't feel my best. Like there were the thing that made it really suck is that the symptoms I was having were so close to what the beginning of a gout flare-up feels like. So I was like, oh God, is this happening again? And just like not being able to figure out what it was really annoying. But then after a couple of days, it was like, it can't possibly be gout. I did like calf extensions using like one of those incline leg press machines, which is a way you can do calf extensions. I discovered.
Yeah, no, I've done those.
So yeah, I did that with like 100 kilograms of weight, and my best guess from everything.
That's a lot of weight.
From everything I was looking. Yeah, but the thing is I'd done. Yeah, it is a lot of weight, but I had done about that same amount of weight with the same kind of exercise, just not on an incline one. Doing like the kind of where you're facing the other way and you're pushing yourself up. Oh, it's almost the reverse, basically. Like at Planet Fitness in America, I did that. But anyway, my best guess is like that's something just kind of I gripped. The internet is telling me I probably was like gripping the platform with my left foot, like like with my toes, basically, like while extending downward, and it just like overstretched the long ass muscle that connects to your big toe, to your calf or whatever. So like basically, yeah. But you
feeling better now, or?
It's still there, but it's like finally starting to heal. The thing is I was just like not fully staying off it, even though I was like staying in the house. I was just like,
it's really hard to stay off your foot.
I know, but I mean, I was like doing like dumb shit, like just unconsciously, like puttering around the house for no reason. And I think honestly, this almost sounds like a humble brag or something, which like I feel like my body was trying to compensate for how sedentary I was suddenly being compared to like lately these days.
No, that makes sense.
And apparently our bodies do that anyway, like all the like kind of like fidgeting and like tapping our fingers and shit
stuff.
Yeah, neat, that's what it's called.
Yeah, no, I when I've injured myself, it's hard to like not move.
Yeah, so, I mean, your feet, man. It makes you really appreciate like pain-free feet to like basically be locked in your house for. It hasn't even been a full week yet, but almost. I went back to the gym yesterday and just did like upper body stuff really carefully, not to like put any pressure on my feet, aside from the walking to and from the place. But it was funny to see how my, I don't know, whatever attitude towards exercise is like changed or something lately, because I was like genuinely upset that I couldn't.
It feels good. I mean, I exercise a lot, and I approve of it. I don't know. It's a good way to escape the. It just makes me feel like I'm doing at least one thing that's kind of feels good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of it for me too. It is like psychologically sort of important to me at this point. But do you know what Haewon calls me now? And I don't know if you know the term in Korean, the slang term for like a gym rat.
I thought she was going to say young 40.
Helsechang. Chang. Like window, but it's like short for prostitute, hooker. So now in English, Haewon just calls me health prostitute or health hooker, which is kind of funny.
Nice.
She's like, "Oh my god, that's so health prostitute of you to say that." So, new title. I'm not unemployed. I'm not an unemployed fail-lennial with a podcast that doesn't make any money. I'm a health prostitute.
You can become a personal trader.
So my dad literally suggested that to me in a way that made me feel like embarrassed about my lack of like career type development and so forth. He's just like desperately looking for anything that could be like a steady, respectable job. I mean, I guess like they can technically say I'm a teacher to their friends, whatever. But
I don't like to talk about work stuff with Dad.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was just talking about going to the gym, and it was like, oh, if you like the gym so much, you might as well monetize that, because that's how my dad thinks about everything. of course.
If I didn't have a sibling, they'd probably think even less of me. But I've got that buffer of, well, since everything's comparison. Yeah, I kind of hate that everything's thought about as transactional and monetization.
Yeah, it is
disgusting and probably illegal
to do that.
That's what that philosophy conversation I sent you yesterday was about.
Oh yeah, I kind of I read more into that. I forget if I put it on the list or not. I thought I did, but
yeah, we don't have to talk about all that. It's pretty long and
it is long. I kind of like, yeah, it was interesting. I was like kind of coming at it a little skeptically, I guess. Like, how is what they're saying any different from like we're just overloaded with information in general? But they're like articulating something different, I think too, because it's about just like how I already forgot the term, like the unit context or whatever.
Yeah, uni context, like everything now is connected in one like giant room where we used to have more like localized communities, but because everything's online, like even your workouts, like if you use Strava, it's like everything's just like just brownie points of do people approve of this, and everyone's working under the same norms because like there's less localized norms. Everything's become like a globalized norm. It's weird.
It is weird. And there's someone who agrees with you on that. Who is that? Where is he?
It's weird.
It is weird. This is one of my favorite new drops of it. Just of Trump being asked what he thinks about like the housing bill, or something that is actually pretty important, and he just goes like this.
I don't know. I think it's so unimportant. Here's what I would like to say. It's a yawn. Just about everything is a big yawn.
Everything is a big yawn. I don't often agree with the man, but I feel that in my bones.
Yeah, he's really getting at something true there.
Sometimes, though, my dream is for everything to be a big yawn, because as an elementary school teacher, or whatever I am, we'll go with elementary school teacher, I've realized my job's not all that hard, but there are certain days where there is so much sensory overload that all I would really like is just a big yawn. Because, the human body's not meant to be in small rooms with that decimal of chaotic sound and movement going on around you.
Yeah, buckle up. We're not ready for this shit, fellow humans. Alright, I guess we should get started in the real official sense.
Yeah, we should. Because I do have to go at some point, and
if we happen to go
small humans.
If we happen to go till 1, is that okay?
Yeah,
that's what I was
fine.
Aiming as the cutoff. So, okay, cool. Oh, I got this.
It was a debate.
Not everybody landed punches like you did, though.
It was a debate.
So you don't mean it.
Funny to me.
It was a debate. That the whole reason, literally, it was a debate.
The debate was a debate.
I understand.
It's called a debate.
The debate. There were journalists there covering the debate, where there would be a debate of differences of opinion and issues.
Okay.
I am 1,000% supportive of Joe Biden, and I will again do everything I can to
make her president, folks. No, I pulled that one just because until I was reminded that Tim couldn't do the podcast this week, I thought we would end up talking a lot about the stupid debate that was big with Candace Owens this week. But I figured it's better to just save that for next week. And yeah, we've got plenty of shit here. All right. I'm actually going to start now.
I don't know if I know about the debate with Candace
That's partially why I was like, and because Jason is a better person than us, he probably doesn't even know who Andrew Wilson is. So I'll save that for you, Tim, because Tim has definitely a lot of thoughts about it, I think, or at least, you know.
I was listening to Heat Def yesterday, and you guys were talking about your YouTube algorithms and how you assume everyone else knows this shit, but maybe they don't. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I agree with both of you when you say maybe it's best not to partake in any of it, but it's really hard, especially if you're curious.
Yeah. I think it's more about moderation or something, for me at least. Like, I've been thinking about that a lot lately because, like, every week, it's like this cycle of, like, I gather up anything that looks remotely interesting for the podcast, as you can tell because you're in the private article stash channels on Discord. But then, like, by the time shit that happened on Sunday and it's Saturday, by the time like Saturday rolls around, that stuff just looks so played, and you've just seen it like described the same way, covered the same way, the same exact clips from the same one thing, that then by the time I start talking about it, it's just like, well, what's the point of talking? Like, everybody's heard every perspective on this, basically. So
it's also possible they haven't.
That's the thing. Is so, like, I'd keep doing stuff, but, like, I don't know, like, part of the reason I even keep listening to these, like, all these sources, and then it's just like, it feels like, oh God, it's just this sameness, echo chamber, whatever, which is fine. It's good if, like, the takes are good, but, like, it just becomes that thing of, like, it's so familiar to me, I started to assume it's as familiar to everyone else, which is a fallacy, of course. But I don't know. I don't know what to do about it, other than I just sort of accept that that's how it is, and then try to, like, talk about stuff that's not talked about quite as much as all the other shit that week. But that means then that I'm, like, narrowing down the notes up until the last second every week too, which also kind of sucks. But any fucking way. Sorry, I'm rambling. Let's actually start the thing.
You could just start making stuff up.
Yeah, true.
Just make your own news. Make the news. Make the negative news you wish was happening.
What I could really do. I'm sort of embarrassed to say this. It's only kind of recently really hit me that, like, the majority of people you see doing all the short form videos and shit are just generating shit with AI and reading it into the camera.
Yeah, I
mean, that is it. That is the dominant mode. Like, once you realize what you're seeing, it's just like, oh, every fucking person is. Because I'm like, why does this person, like, you start judging people on their like at face value. Like, I'm sorry, but this guy doesn't look like the kind of guy who's like an expert in Japanese imperial history, for example. And he's just like rattling off rapid fire all these historical facts about it. It's just like, okay, it's cool. I like the information you're sending me, but, like, at the same time, there's something.
Dead
it's just dead.
Baby.
Yeah,
dead
it just
internet.
adds to the dead internet feeling. And, like, for the 20th time, I swear to God, I'm starting the podcast.
I don't remember how to start the podcast.
I got it. I got you.
Do you sing a theme song?
It kind of sounds like the Nokia theme, the way I was trying to hum it there. Is that the Nokia ringtone?
It's been too long for me to remember that.
Oh, you'd recognize it the second you heard
All I
it.
remember about my Nokia is playing Snake, endlessly playing Snake, and thinking what a great fucking game to have with me everywhere.
I never was a big Snake guy, I don't think. Maybe a little bit. You gotta recognize that. No? Okay.
Well, I do recognize it. Though it's back. I've suddenly in 2005 again, or 2004.
Actually, that video said 1996. And it was one of those videos. It's like all the Nokia tones from 96 to 2008, and that was the first one. So it was pretty old.
Well, yeah. Well, for me, it would be. I think I got my first phone around 2002 or 2003. First, like mobile phone.
It was
like right after high school.
Yeah, I think it was only after I moved out of my parents' house that I even had one. All right, here we go.